Listen to me. The reason most people never rise above average isn't because they lack talent. It's because they lack focus. You can't win a race you keep stepping out of. You can't build a tower if you keep tearing it down halfway. Power is not found in scattered energy. Power is found in directed energy. Power comes from focus. When your mind is scattered in 1,000 directions, your energy is divided, and divided energy has no strength. But when you take all that mental, emotional, and physical power and aim it in one direction, it becomes a force that can cut through resistance like a blade through paper. Focus is what takes potential and turns it into performance. You can have all the talent in the world, but without focus, your talent will be wasted. It's like sunlight. Scattered it warms, but concentrated through a magnifying glass, it burns. When you focus, you create momentum. Your steps begin to align. Your decisions become easier because you know what serves your purpose and what doesn't. You stop wasting time on what doesn't matter, and every move you make pushes you closer to your goal. Without focus, you'll constantly feel busy yet make little progress. With focus, even small actions become powerful because they are moving in a single direction. Focus is the filter that protects your mind from the noise of the world. Every day, countless distractions fight for your attention: social media, gossip, other people's priorities, your own fears and doubts. Focus says, not today. I have work to do. It trains your mind to ignore the unnecessary so you can give your full strength to what matters most. Distraction isn't just a time thief, it's a dream thief. And the more you allow it, the more it drains your power. When you are focused, you begin to see opportunities that were invisible before. It's not that they weren't there. It's that your attention was scattered, so you couldn't recognize them. Focus sharpens your vision. It allows you to notice patterns, spot openings, and respond with precision. While others are wandering, you are advancing. While others are guessing, you are hitting your target. Focus also builds confidence. When you know where you're going and you keep moving toward it, doubt loses its grip. You start proving to yourself that you can follow through. Every small win reinforces your belief that you have what it takes. Confidence isn't built by thinking about your potential. It's built by focusing on your path and acting on it consistently. Focus eliminates wasted energy. Every time you change direction without purpose, you have to start over. You lose momentum. You burn out faster because you're always switching task goals or priorities. But when you remain locked in, your energy compounds. Instead of starting over every week, you keep building on what you've already done. That's why focus produces exponential results. It stacks progress on top of progress. Focus creates discipline, and discipline is the backbone of success. When you are focused, you're willing to say no to things that might feel good in the moment, but pull you away from your vision. You stop chasing short-term pleasure because you're invested in long-term gain. Focus is the quiet agreement you make with yourself that your future matters more than your comfort today. When you maintain focus, you learn faster. You pick up skills more efficiently because you're not dividing your attention between 10 different things. Mastery requires repetition, and repetition requires focus. Every hour you spend fully engaged in your craft sharpens your ability and accelerates your growth. Those who lack focus take years to reach what focused people achieve in months. Focus strengthens resilience. The journey toward any big goal will be filled with challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. Without focus, these obstacles will push you off track. But with focus, they become temporary bumps in the road instead of dead ends. You're less likely to quit because your vision keeps pulling you forward. You're anchored to your purpose, so no storm can make you drift away completely. Ultimately, power comes from focus, because focus channels your energy, time, and resources into a single, unstoppable direction. It transforms scattered potential into concentrated force. It turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. It's not about doing more. It's about doing less with more intensity, more clarity, and more commitment toward the one thing that truly matters to you. Distractions are the enemy of success. Every time you allow your attention to be pulled away from your goals, you weaken your ability to move forward. Distractions may seem small and harmless in the moment, but they are like tiny leaks in a ship left unchecked. They will eventually sink it. They rob you of time, drain your energy, and break the flow of momentum that is essential for achievement. The greatest threat to your success is often not a lack of talent or opportunity, but the constant interruptions that chip away at your focus. When you give in to distractions, you trade your vision for temporary stimulation. It might feel good to check your phone every few minutes, browse meaningless content, or engage in conversations that add no value, but each of those moments steals from the life you are trying to build. Distractions don't just cost you minutes, they cost you progress. You might think you can simply get back on track, but every shift of attention forces your brain to restart, and that delay adds up over time, leaving you wondering why you're working hard yet moving slowly. Distractions disguise themselves as urgent, but most of them are nothing more than noise. A message, a notification, an invitation to do something just for a moment. All of these compete for your attention, pretending they deserve it more than your mission. If you let them, they'll train your mind to crave interruption, making it harder and harder to concentrate. The more you feed distraction, the weaker your discipline becomes, until you reach the point where staying focused feels uncomfortable and being distracted feels normal. The danger is that distractions often look harmless. They might even appear productive. You could spend hours researching, but never actually execute. You could attend endless meetings, watch countless videos, or read endless advice without taking a single meaningful step toward your goal. Distractions aren't always loud and obvious. Sometimes they wear the mask of preparation, but in reality, they keep you from doing the real work that matters. Distractions destroy momentum, and momentum is one of your most valuable assets in achieving success. When you're in the flow, your creativity is sharper, your ideas come faster, and your work feels more effortless. But the moment you allow yourself to check out mentally, even for a few seconds, you have to restart the process. It's like pushing a car up a hill. Every time you stop, the car rolls backward, and you have to work twice as hard to regain the same position you had before. One of the most dangerous effects of distractions is that they train your brain to expect instant gratification. Success requires patience, but distraction rewards you immediately with novelty, entertainment, or relief from boredom. Over time, this rewires your mind to avoid deep, focused work and chase quick hits of dopamine instead. This is why so many people struggle to stick with a task for more than a few minutes. Their brain has been conditioned to jump from one thing to the next. Distractions don't just cost you time, they cost you depth. You can't reach your highest level of skill, insight, or creativity if you're constantly switching your attention. Deep work is where breakthroughs happen, but deep work requires sustained focus. If your mind is always half here and half somewhere else, you'll only ever produce surface level results. Greatness is built in the depths, and distractions keep you stuck at the shallow end. Sometimes distractions are not external, but internal. Worry, overthinking, self-doubt, and replaying past failures can be just as damaging as a phone buzzing on your desk. Your mind can be a battlefield, and if you don't guard it, you'll spend more energy fighting your own thoughts than pursuing your vision. Internal distractions are often harder to detect, but they can be defeated by deliberately training your mind to return to the present and to the task at hand. Distractions often lead to procrastination, and procrastination is a silent killer of dreams. You tell yourself you'll just check this one thing or take a quick break, and suddenly hours are gone. You rationalize it by convincing yourself that you'll work later, but later rarely comes with the same energy or clarity you had before. Every delay weakens your resolve and makes it easier to delay again the next time. Over time, distraction becomes a habit, and habits shape destiny. The truth is that distractions are not just a minor inconvenience. They are a deliberate force pulling you away from success. Every moment you spend distracted is a moment you could have invested in building the life you want. Distractions break your rhythm, blur your vision, and consume the resources you need to win. They create a life where you are always busy but rarely effective, always active but rarely accomplished, always moving but never arriving. Consistency turns effort into victory. One day of hard work can make you feel accomplished, but it will not change your life. True success is the result of showing up again and again, even when the excitement has faded and the results are not yet visible. Consistency is the bridge between intention and achievement, the force that transforms bursts of effort into lasting change. Without it, your potential remains unrealized and your goals remain out of reach. When you are consistent, you create a pattern that compounds over time. Every action builds upon the one before it, stacking small wins into larger successes. What starts as a simple habit becomes an unstoppable force because momentum works in your favor. Consistency is like planting seeds. One seed may not seem like much, but a field of seeds watered daily will eventually grow into a harvest. Skipping days or quitting too soon is like leaving the soil dry. The growth stops before it can bear fruit. Consistency also builds credibility with yourself. Each time you follow through, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted to honor your commitments. This self-trust is critical because the journey to success is long, and you must believe you can endure it. Without consistency, self-doubt creeps in, making it easier to quit when challenges arise. With it, you carry a quiet confidence that no matter how difficult things get, you have the discipline to keep going. Effort alone can be exhausting if it's scattered and inconsistent. You might work intensely for a few days and then stop for weeks, only to find yourself back at the beginning. Consistency prevents this cycle by turning effort into a rhythm. This rhythm allows you to sustain progress without burning out because you are not relying on sudden bursts of motivation. Instead, you are moving steadily forward, letting discipline carry you when motivation is absent. Consistency creates an environment where improvement is inevitable. The more often you practice a skill, engage with your work, or take action towards your goals, the better you become. This improvement is not always noticeable day by day, but over weeks, months, and years it becomes undeniable. People often overestimate what they can achieve in a short time and underestimate what they can achieve over a longer period of steady effort. Consistency is what makes those long-term achievements possible. One of the most overlooked aspects of consistency is its ability to turn setbacks into lessons rather than endings. When you are consistent, failure is just part of the process, not a reason to stop. You show up the next day and try again, carrying forward the lessons you've learned. This persistence builds resilience, making you less likely to be derailed by obstacles. Without consistency, a single failure can feel final. With it, it becomes fuel for growth. Consistency strengthens your reputation with others as well. People learn to trust those who show up reliably, whether in business, relationships, or personal commitments. Opportunities often come to those who are known for following through, because consistency signals reliability and professionalism. This trust can open doors that talent alone cannot. Many talented people never reach their potential because they fail to show up consistently enough to be recognized and rewarded. Consistency also aligns with the natural laws of growth. Just as a plant cannot be watered once and expected to thrive, you cannot expect lasting success from occasional effort. The process of growth is gradual, requiring daily or regular attention. Consistency is the discipline that nurtures your goals through seasons of planting, tending, and harvesting, ensuring that the outcome matches the effort you've invested. Even the smallest actions, when done consistently, can produce extraordinary results. Writing a page a day leads to a book in a year. Saving a small amount regularly can grow into significant wealth over time. Exercising daily can transform your health and energy. The key is not the size of the effort, but the fact that it is repeated without interruption. Consistency multiplies even the smallest of actions into something substantial. At its core, consistency turns effort into victory because it refuses to let progress slip away. It anchors your actions to your vision, ensuring that every day you are taking steps in the right direction. Even when the steps feel small, they are moving you forward. Victory is rarely the result of a single act. It is the accumulation of countless consistent actions that over time create a result so great it seems inevitable to everyone else. Small, steady actions compound into big results. Most people overestimate the power of a single massive effort and underestimate the power of repeated, consistent steps taken over time. Great achievements are rarely built in a single leap. They are the outcome of persistent, deliberate actions that may seem insignificant in the moment, but build momentum with each repetition. Every small step is like a deposit into an account, and over time, those deposits create a fortune of results. When you take small, steady actions, you remove the pressure to achieve everything at once. Big goals can feel overwhelming, making it easy to procrastinate or quit. But when you break them down into manageable steps, you create a path that feels achievable. This makes it easier to start, and once you start, momentum takes over. The human mind thrives on progress, and each small win feeds the desire to keep going. The beauty of small actions is that they create habits, and habits drive transformation. When an action becomes part of your daily rhythm, it no longer requires as much willpower to perform. Over time, these habits shape your identity. You stop being someone who's trying to reach a goal and become someone who naturally lives in alignment with it. The change becomes automatic and the results become inevitable. Small, steady actions also create compounding benefits, just like compound interest in finance. The returns may be barely visible at first, but as time passes, the growth accelerates. This is why two people can start at the same place, but the one who consistently takes small steps will eventually be miles ahead. It's not about doing the most in a single day. It's about doing something meaningful every day without fail. Consistency in small actions also teaches patience, which is essential for long-term success. In a world addicted to instant gratification, patience is a competitive advantage. The willingness to keep showing up even when results are not immediate, is what separates those who succeed from those who give up too soon. Small actions remind you that progress is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. Small steps reduce the fear of failure. When you commit to something huge all at once, the risk feels high and the fear can paralyze you. But when you take one small step, the risk feels manageable and you can adjust as you go. This flexibility allows you to learn from mistakes without losing everything, making it easier to keep moving forward instead of being stopped by setbacks. These small actions also build resilience. Every time you follow through on a commitment, no matter how small, you strengthen the muscle of discipline. Over time, that discipline becomes unshakable. When challenges arise, you're less likely to be thrown off course because you've already built the habit of doing what needs to be done, no matter the circumstances. Another powerful aspect of small, steady actions is that they attract opportunities you couldn't see at the start. As you keep moving, you meet new people, learn new skills, and gain experiences that open doors you never expected. These opportunities often appear only to those who have been consistent long enough to be in the right place at the right time. Small steps are also sustainable. Huge, all-at-once efforts often lead to burnout because they're not realistic to maintain. But small actions can be repeated without exhausting your energy. They fit into your life, allowing you to make progress without sacrificing your health or other important priorities. Over the long term, sustainability matters more than intensity. In the end, small, steady actions compound into big results because they harness the unstoppable power of time. Time rewards the persistent and punishes the inconsistent. Each day's effort may feel insignificant in isolation, but together they form a chain that grows stronger with every link. The big results people admire are almost always the product of the small, quiet, disciplined steps that no one saw along the way. Victory is persistence, not just the finish line. Too many people believe success is defined by a single moment of triumph, a final achievement, or a public celebration. But the truth is, victory is built long before the crowd sees it. It's forged in the countless moments you choose to keep going when it would be easier to quit. The finish line is only the visible part of victory. The real win is the determination to keep moving forward despite the setbacks, delays, and disappointments along the way. Persistence is what carries you through the seasons when nothing seems to be working. There will be times when progress feels painfully slow, when your efforts seem invisible, and when you question whether it's worth it at all. In those moments, persistence is the voice that says, one more step. It's not about pretending everything is easy. It's about refusing to stop just because it's hard. True victory lies in mastering the art of enduring. Anyone can be committed when things are going well, but persistence is measured by how you respond when things go wrong. Challenges will test your patience, your strength, and your belief in yourself. If you keep showing up despite them, you've already won a battle most people lose, the battle against giving up too soon. When you persist, you become stronger with every obstacle you face. Each difficulty teaches you a lesson, sharpens your skills, and deepens your resilience. The journey shapes you in ways the destination never could. By the time you reach the finish line, you're not just someone who achieved a goal, you're someone who has been transformed by the process. This transformation is a victory in itself. Persistence is also a shield against regret. The pain of trying and failing is temporary, but the pain of knowing you gave up too soon can last a lifetime. When you persist, you give yourself the peace of knowing you left nothing on the table. Even if the outcome takes longer than expected, you can stand tall knowing you stayed the course when it mattered most. The path to victory is rarely straight. It twists, turns, and sometimes feels like it's moving backward. Persistence keeps you grounded through the detours. It reminds you that the journey is not over just because it's uncomfortable. Many people lose because they confuse a setback with the end, but those who persist understand that a delay is not a defeat. Persistence changes how you see the finish line itself. Instead of chasing it as the only source of fulfillment, you begin to value the daily discipline, the small wins, and the quiet progress you make along the way. The finish line becomes a milestone, not the definition of success. The satisfaction comes from knowing you stayed committed through everything it took to get there. The more you persist, the more opportunities you create. Every day you stay in the race is another day for something to shift in your favor. A new connection, a fresh idea, or a breakthrough you couldn't have predicted. Quitting guarantees you'll never see those moments. Persistence keeps the door open for them to happen. Persistence also inspires others. People notice when you keep showing up, and it challenges them to reconsider their own limits. Your journey becomes proof that endurance works, that grit matters, and that the ability to keep going can be more powerful than raw talent. In this way, your persistence becomes part of a legacy that influences far beyond your personal victory. Victory is persistence because the process of refusing to quit builds a strength that outlasts any single achievement. The finish line is fleeting. You cross it and the moment passes. But the persistence you develop on the way there stays with you for life. It becomes part of who you are, equipping you to face the next challenge with even greater courage and determination. Action now beats waiting for perfect conditions. Far too many dreams are delayed, not because people lack the ability, but because they are waiting for the right time. They convince themselves that once the timing is better, the resources are greater, or the circumstances are more favorable, then they will finally move. But perfect conditions are an illusion. They rarely, if ever, arrive. Waiting for everything to align perfectly is simply another way of procrastinating on the things that matter most. When you take action now, you create momentum. Momentum doesn't wait for perfection. It thrives on movement. Even imperfect steps move you forward, and once you're in motion, it becomes easier to adjust, refine, and improve. Standing still, on the other hand, gives you nothing to work with. You can't steer a parked car, but once it's rolling, even slowly, you can change direction and build speed. The danger of waiting for perfect conditions is that life is always changing. There will always be challenges, uncertainties, and distractions. If you make action conditional on the absence of obstacles, you will never begin. Those who succeed are not the ones with flawless starting points. They are the ones who learn to start despite the messiness of their circumstances. Action now also gives you clarity. You can spend weeks, months, or years planning and imagining, but reality will always be different than theory. Taking the first step reveals what works and what doesn't far faster than thinking about it ever will. Each action becomes a source of feedback, showing you the next move more clearly than waiting could. Imperfect action has a compounding effect. Every small step you take opens doors to new possibilities, connections, and opportunities you couldn't predict before starting. These opportunities only appear to those already in motion. Waiting on the sidelines keeps you invisible to the very people and situations that could help you succeed. Taking action now also builds confidence. Confidence is not something you wait to have before starting. It's something you develop by doing. The more you act, the more capable you feel. And the more capable you feel, the more willing you are to take the next step. This cycle can only begin once you decide to move, even if the conditions feel far from ideal. When you move now, you separate yourself from the majority. Most people hesitate, overthink, and wait for the perfect signal to begin. Those who start immediately are often the ones who reach their goals first, not because they knew everything, but because they learned everything while in the process of doing. Action is the fastest teacher there is. Even mistakes made in action are more valuable than the comfort of waiting. A mistake made while moving teaches you what doesn't work and points you toward what does. Waiting only gives you hypothetical scenarios without any real data to guide you. By acting now, you trade uncertainty for experience, and experience is what sharpens both your skill and your decision making. Action now also trains you to adapt. When you start before conditions are perfect, you learn how to navigate challenges as they come instead of being paralyzed by them. Adaptability is one of the most important traits for long-term success, and it can only be built through real-world experience. Every imperfect start becomes training for future resilience. The truth is, perfect conditions are a moving target. If you wait for them, you'll always find a reason to delay. The people who accomplish the most are rarely the ones who started at the perfect time. They are the ones who started anyway. By acting now, you give yourself a head start, you learn faster, and you create the very opportunities that others are still waiting to see.